inspires a bit more confidence, because as of yet, I don't see the answer here. I really don't. They let the Rubik slide through again, and we saw how much work Zephyr did on that hero. He did amazing work. They go with a puck. Okay, that's a bit of a shakeup. That does allow them ways to go in and out without needing items. They just need EXP on the puck for her to be effective by level 6. So you just need that fast 6, maybe 1 or 2 mid-game items, and then you can start pumping the aggression out. There are some good heroes in the backline to burst. Keeper of the Light should be really easy to kill off if you can jump them as the puck. So I like this from Hashtag. That is a bit more of a shakeup. That's a less greedy mid. We'll see if that's going to be enough, but so far, I feel like that kind of corrects their draft issue just a bit. But there are reasons why you don't see the puck too often as well, Mike.
Well, look, here's what I'm saying, right? I'm saying the puck is able to grab the Rubik so that Paulson can actually use his ultimate this time around. Because the last time you always saw Zephyr, he was in the perfect position every time. The only issue I have with the puck, John, is the Will-O-Wisp is available. The puck doesn't like Will-O-Wisp very much. Centaur, fair enough, just a great offlaner for Cuckoo to play. But nothing special with this Centaur, it's just a solid offlane. But that's my problem with the puck still. It's just... And Geek Fam have even given Alpha a chance to ban the Void now.
Are they going to do it? They really should, but they might be feeling confident because they have the Elder Titan now. Elder Titan makes it hard for Void to confidently chrono if he doesn't catch ET, because he has such a long-range way of putting Void to sleep that it could be hard. It's a bit of a risk for Raven. Maybe that's what Hashtag is banking on this time, if that Void is to come out. At the same time, I still don't think that's a great idea, because Raven is a beast in that hero, and it slots in nicely with his lineup, as we mentioned. Now, with that Centaur pick, it begs the question: is Geek Fam going to run the mid Tiny up against a puck? Are they going to run a core Rubik up against the puck? Or yeah, that's basically the options you have. It's going to be interesting to see how they shift that around.
The thing is, in terms of this position 1 pickup now for either side, one of the problems is you still gotta... I mean, we talked about the Void a million times now. You've still got a Slark available. They actually opt to ban the Naga Siren, which is very interesting. I don't necessarily blame them for that. I think there were probably better options in the Slark or the Void. Slark does not mind going up against the Spectre early on. You just sit there stealing stats the whole time. The Spectre just does nothing early on in the game, but...
10 seconds.
Alright, well, Geek Fam, final ban for them. This should be an interesting draft, and I'm more intrigued now to see what Alpha does with their last pickup. Because I'm still not confident in what they've gone for here. We see the LC ban come out. How did Geek Fam finish this? Oh! Uh-oh. That's a Raven special, I believe. The Terrorblade comes out.
Oh, that's going to be very interesting to see. There are a couple of issues with that TB I can't point out. It's that Puck could probably eat through you if you're not going to be careful with your positioning. You have very low HP. You have great armor, but Puck has really good magic damage to follow up. So it really depends for Hashtag here. If they can snowball off of that Puck, you can be a menace on Terrorblade. The issue is catching Terrorblade in the first place. Raven, probably not going to be... Well, he could be as aggressive if he plays around his Metamorphosis timing quite well. But the Terrorblade definitely has stricter farming patterns, and you really have to stick to when you want to choose those fights with a Metamorphosis.
Choose your hero.
I like that pickup, John. The Bounty Hunter, I think this is maybe what they were lacking in their earlier game, right? Because the track is going to help them so much to escalate to the point they need to actually put up a fight against Geek Fam. It is going to be what looks like an offlane bounty as well, which they tend to be a little bit hard to deal with the Janata strikes constantly coming out. Overall, I think this is a much better draft than the first game that we saw. How are you feeling about this, BH?
It's definitely a nice way to close it out for a Hashtag. I think the one issue I really have is that it's... I don't know about the timings here. Like, you could get that fast 6, start getting those tracks out. We have seen before, if there isn't anyone to gank up, if everyone's just kind of split out, then the track really amounts to nothing. You've got to maximize that. I think the key duo here is going to be Nothing to Say and Velo, going around hunting people with her great mobility and track hold. Escalate from there, start bullying Raven with his low HP pool early on before he can itemize to correct that. And then you have a pretty good way of opening up this game for hashtag. But Geek Fam, they've set themselves up quite well. Again, they have Sephiroth on the Rubik. He is a menace on that hero. You've got that Core Tiny as well. That's going to be a bit of a wild card. It should be interesting to see it up against the Puck. That's not a lane matchup you see too often nowadays. But that should favor the Puck just a bit. The range and the damage on the Puck is pretty nice and should be able to trade favorably against the Tiny at the very least.
We'll find out very, very soon as we will be going into the game. Of course, if you weren't here for game number 1, Geek Fam did pull off the win. AlphaX hashtag going to try and tie this series out 1-1 if they can before we move on to our next series. Of course, Geek Fam are going to just try and 2-0 if they possibly can as well. And I suppose while we're here, I may as well mention our next matchup. But it is going to be between Reality Rift again and Signal after this. So, if you are a fan of Reality Rift or Signal, we'll be back straight after this series for that one. But for now, we'll just tune into this one because it's much more important. Get into it.
Stopped.
And Cuckoo.
Oh, Cuckoo.
Cuckoo, calm down, sir.
Oh my god. Oh. You know it's all good chess. It's all in good faith because these guys have probably played against each other so many times. Still though, that is a lot of confidence from Cuckoo. Throwing out the stomped. But I can't blame the guy after game 1. It's on Alpha really to show us that they can roll back after a game 1 like that.
It is.
Now, Velo up against Raven. This should be a good time for Velo. He should be able to walk up and right-click Raven every time he doesn't have Metamorphosis up. When Raven has meta, you will have to watch out. You're not going to be trading favorably at all.
30 seconds to battle.
We'll see what Raven does on the TB as well, because it's not very often you see this Terrorblade come out anymore. It's kind of intriguing that they even bothered trying to go for it, but I suppose, again, it is Raven. We'll see.
For this.
Speaking of the devil. Winter will be on watch for that top banner rune. Of course, the bottom one's already basically taken by the side of Geek Fam because nobody's there from the side of hashtag.
Of the tree.
And this time around, it will be an even 2-for-2 trade. So Geek Fam, they don't really put too much emphasis because this time around there's no Alchemist. And so they'll essentially allow AlphaX hashtag to also have 2.
Yeah, it's fair enough. You don't want to risk too much. You can't afford to get too aggressive with the heroes you have right now as well. You don't want your Terrorblade to be stuck in a very bad spot here. So you just opt to play it safe and try to secure your early laning start. The dual lane of Terrorblade plus Kotl is not the most common, but you should have a lot of value here in keeping TB alive with that Blinding Light because mainly the harass is going to be from right clicks.
Hello. He's going to be pretty much alone again, as the Enigma, of course, going to go back into the jungle. See how he does perform. Meanwhile, looking at mid, Ryoya versus Nothing to Say. Going seemingly well for Ryoya so far. With that much base right click, it's kind of hard to not get last hits. So he should at least have somewhat of a decent start up against this Puck. Like, obviously he's going to cop a fair bit of harassment from the Puck, there's no doubting that. But ultimately, the CS should still be there.
It definitely should be. You're going to be slightly limited by your mana pool here. Puck is not as worried because, again, they can farm safely from a distance. However, if you just abuse your tree grab, you can really lay it onto that Puck.
Trick of the tree.
Cuckoo. Down the bot lane, doing decently for himself right now. Really not threatened at all. Actually goes for the hoof stomp as well. They're going to try onto Winter. Now, there's not really too much kill potential, although maybe there is. The lift back is there. Winter, yeah, he'll go down. The retaliate damage was just too much. Miracle on the Spectre really just couldn't do anything about it to help him out.
it's down to this lane partnership with Spectre. No matter what hero you throw out, it's not going to be too amazing because Spectre's laning is honestly not great, right? It's nothing like a Juggernaut in the safe. It's nothing like a Lifestealer if you have a good support. Spectre is just there to farm for the most part, and there's not much you can really do if your support is jumped. You toss out the Spectral Dagger to try to slow them down. That's it.
You shall not.
It's gonna be tough for Miracle in this game number 2. I mean, Cuckoo with the retaliate stacks really just doesn't suffer at all. Like, he's just gonna be perfectly fine, continue to farm up. Miracle's in this weird position as well, where he's gonna just use Dagger over and over again to get these last hits. You can already see in terms of XP, he is gonna be behind. Eventually, we may have a repeat of what happened in game 1, where they're just 1 or 2 levels above the side of Alpha, and there's just not much they could do.
Yeah, that would be a very rough spot to be in. At the very least, you're not going to be seeing that issue for Velo, as he is getting some nice aggressive pulls going for himself, so he is securing himself some steady EXP and steady gold. A bit of a better story than the last game so far.
Yes, certainly. Looks like Velo has been left alone with Raven now as... Well, I say that, Dubu, he's just kind of running around, sussing things out, looking for Polison. Polison has rotated down to the bottom side jungle. So he's just really ensuring this time he's just ready to go when the team needs it. That is going to be super important for the Enigma. While Cuckoo again trying to apply more pressure onto the Spectre. Considering the lane he has though, you've got to admit Miracle is doing a decent job with those 13 last hits. Seemingly finding last hits even though it looks like an impossible lane by himself. You can see that Winter isn't really there, he's just securing power runes for the team.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Like, you can't really expect Miracle to do too much here. As mentioned again, it's just a weak laning stage for this lane for Alpha X hashtag. You've got to accept that. At the very least, again, Paulson isn't being punished for his greed. Your top lane is, well, it was going well, but Velo's in a spot of trouble now.
No, he is. Looks like Dubu won't really be able to find him though. Velo runs out too far forward. Raven, he could just smack him with the right click and... Well, now they know he's still there. He hasn't TP'd out yet. It looks like they will just ignore him and apply pressure to the T1 tower with that Metamorphosis. There's still a fair bit of time available, so they might actually just take it out. And it's going to wear off, but you've already taken out half its HP. Yeah, Raven, he legit may just stick around and take it out, and Velo is going to try and maybe get a deny off. Or maybe not even. Just won't risk his life. T1 tower gone at before 5 minutes.
Ooh.
That
Yeah,
shouldn't
that's
happen.
rough. It's a Raven Terrorblade. He's gotten too much space. His laning enemy is decent, but it's not going to be applying too much pressure. They do find a courier though, so that's nice from Velo.
It certainly is. Dubu does have Dust Sentries available, but just doesn't opt to use it on Velo. No real point. You don't have the kill potential with that Metamorphosis. So Velo, he'll be able to keep farming up for the team. And essentially, he just needs to hit that level 6 or 7 mark. Right, he just needs to get the tract so he can start making some moves with the team.
Yeah, definitely. It's really just the issue of EXP. He's a level off, but it's still going to be a while until he starts getting that EXP. The lane is not as safe as you'd want it to be without that tier 1. In fact, that opens up that top jungle as well. So it's an area to avoid for the most part.
Ryoya, bit of a mistake mid lane. Dreamcall was there for nothing to say, and he tried to stretch the coil out as far as he could, but went a bit too far. Some people underestimate how much damage it can do, and well, a very nice pickup from nothing to say to realize he was in a great position there. So now Shrine up back to the mid lane. That'll make it a 1-to-1. Just about 6.5 minutes in. And again, I will say that at the very least, Alpha X hashtag, they are definitely having a better start. And that's what's going to be important in having an entertaining game, because it should be much more even this time.
It really should be, and again, we are seeing that. The greed that Paulson has is not being punished. The lanes are going better, although it's still not amazing.
Miracle tossed in from Ryoya, and Miracle may just be dead. Avalanche tree toss is there though. He is tanking a lot of damage, but Cuckoo is not going to give up. Neither is Ryoya. They will end up finding the kill. And that is a very important one to find, as he was slowly starting to catch his way up in terms of farm. Not so much anymore, though.
Yeah, that is a nice clean pickoff coming up from Geek Fam, and that does just give them a little bit more breathing space. I think I'd really like them to start hunting Paulson down. I feel like they're not respecting the power of a greedy Enigma that does go online fast. He's going to have his Dominator in a bit, and once that's up, he'll be ready and set to push down any tower, which looks to be the top first. Hashtag is setting up there.
Dubu gonna be in trouble top lane. It's quite a few heroes rotating up. In fact, it's 4 in total. Velo will pick up the kill, and we can't forget these are starting to be track kills now. The thing with track kills is even if you rotate 4 heroes up, you're not gonna care because of how much extra gold you get.
Yeah, it's still definitely worthwhile. They transition that to an objective as well, and again, with Paulson around, that's a very quick push. So this is much nicer coming out from Hashtag, much cleaner fights, transitioning to objectives. It allows them to get a bit more map control. You are seeing the payoff from the jungle Enigma, and hopefully, with all this movement around, you should be getting space for Miracle as well.
Miracle's just currently farming that dire side jungle. Avalanche toss back from the Tiny Winter. He gets tossed back to Mile. They will end up splitting the gold for that one. So Velo is on the hunt now. Still 2 to 3 now, 8.5 minutes in. Things seemingly going well for both teams. And you know, going back to your point, I suppose they probably should respect Paulson on this Enigma. They definitely aren't really caring right now, and he's already got the Helm of Dom up. If he gets that quick Guardian Greaves and quick BKB, things are going to get very, very concerning. Still doesn't stop the spell steal, but
it's that lack of respect that does worry me a bit. I think Geek Fam, they are playing a bit of a slower game, but it's understandable considering that they have a Terrorblade. Now, he can play aggressive earlier on, but it's a massive risk, especially against a lineup that Hashtag does have.
Paulson could be in trouble now. Zephyr moving forward. Stampede is there. Paulson does now get the respect he deserves. It does end up going down. Velo still roaming around, just taking out sentry wards in the dire side jungle, trying to take control of this. Dust is there, though. They know he's around here somewhere. Avalanche will connect from Ryoya. Lift is there as well. The toss up. Illuminate does connect, and Velo, he's still making a run for a blinding light from the uphill. Very well played from Dubu, and the toss in to Zephyr. They will find the kill on the bounty hunter.
Yeah, and that is a lot going the way of Geek Fam once again. They still are finding stuff in the map, although, again, it's a slower pace coming out from Geek Fam. It's slightly more aggressive from Hashtag. While all of this is happening, Miracle is getting his space. It looks like he's going to go for the Urn build. It's been a while since I've really seen the Urn build on the Spectre. Actually, I think this might be the first time in a year.
It's Slash's way, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the old school way where you really build off the top of Haunt, get some stacks up, get some stacks of Urn up, find those kills. But it's fallen out of favor mainly because of that Haunt cooldown, so it should be interesting to see Miracle execute this one.
Dubu going to be in trouble mid lane. Dreamcore is committed, and of course, track is there from Velo. Blinding light, it will not really help as the coil does snap. They will find another track kill. Of course, these are going to really start adding up for the side of Alpha X Hashtag. Still, Zephyr is there in the mid lane to try and defend this T1, or at least slow down the push attempt. Looks like they are actually going to try and fight this. Still though, the T1 is just completely surrounded. Nice stomp there by Winter, actually sitting up on 2. They could go on that, but they choose not to. Rather, they will back off. They'll just be satisfied with the fact that the T1 tower is down.
That's fair enough. You don't want to risk it too bad. You have no idea where the other heroes are, so you play it safe. Just take that objective. It's a massive objective at that. It opens up the jungle quite nicely. It opens up the Roshan pit. I think the key thing for Geek Fam now is that there is no pressure being applied to Raven.
Ryoya, Velo, going to make a bit of a chase here, but does have help around. I do agree. I mean, Raven has essentially just free farmed the whole game. 6k net worth now on the Terrorblade. Perhaps the side of Alpha, they're just not really too concerned about this Terrorblade, but I would be. It's still a Terrorblade. Like, yeah, he got some nerfs a couple months ago, but it is still a very, very potent kind of hero to be up against. Looks like he is going to go straight into that Dragon Lance after the Yasha, so the build still remains very, very standard for the TB. But it looks like Alpha, they are just more focused on finding these track kills on the supports. They do find Zephyr on the Rubik. Track is not going to be there this time around as Velo wasn't located up at the top lane. But still, another nice little pickup, and it looks like they are going to try and pressure that T2 tower a bit.
Is under attack.
Again, the rotation coming out from hashtag are much more effective. They have been working this map much better and really finding objectives they want. My biggest worry is that, as mentioned earlier, Raven, he's still free farming. He's still got a lot more to go though, and it's not like an Alchemist which accelerates that fast. It takes a bit longer for TB to find his grip, but once he does find that grip, it's going to be really hard to deal with.
Cuckoo. This would be a big pickup if they could find a top lane. Dreamcall's not available, but Paulson has Black Hole. And I think you just committed here if you are Paulson, and yeah, you definitely do. Though Zephyr, he's not TPing in, and well, that's going to be Cuckoo gone now. Paulson, of course, immediately spawning up those Eidolons as well. So there will be no steal attempt coming out. Alpha X hashtag, I mean, I guess this is what they wanted in game number 1. This is how they wanted to play, and they certainly are pulling it off, at least for now.
Radiant's middle tower
They
is under
definitely are executing this one a bit better. I think it's off the back of nothing to say on a much more playmaking core. He's not farming around. He's not staying in one spot. He's being active on the map, joining his teammates, setting up kills, and that is what is giving hashtag that momentum right now. Whereas Geek Fam, they've changed it up. They're playing passive with Raven, which is in stark contrast to game 1 as well. Although Paulson should be okay.
Well, Raven is around, has Metamorphosis, and the rest of the team is looping around as well. They have Will-O-Wisp available as well, but they don't know where the rest of Alpha X hashtag are. So Geek Fam, not really interested in fighting right now, though no, never mind. Ryoya, he jumps in with his new Blink Dagger, Meta popped as well, but the Will-O-Wisp, look at him hold them all in. They will eventually run out of there. And well, toss in, Raven, straight onto Paulson. Paulson has nothing he can do here, Raven, I think he was trying to right-click from the Roshan pit, but he couldn't quite get in range. Now Miracle haunts in though, finds one, lifted back, he should find Zephyr as well, and he will. And that is a pretty decent team fight for the side of Alpha X hashtag. They end up finding the Spectre, and now nothing to say, going back in. Doesn't quite have the backup to try and go after the Terrorblade. They will make it a 7-7. Well, we talked about it being an even game, it sure is.
It definitely is. That trade still favors Geek Fam highly. They didn't lose any big cores there. Granted, they did lose their tiny, but you know, you got some good kills on Raven. He's building up quite nicely, and you are starting to apply some pressure here onto Alpha X hashtag. Rather unfortunate that Raven kind of got stuck at the pit. That would have been a nice amount of gold going his way, but does miss out just a bit there.
Bello, in terms of farm, has had a bit of a rough time, but got the drums up now. Looks like the side of the Radiant will smoke up again. They do want to continue this aggression. Of course, Dreamcall is back up as well. Black Hole, not so much, but they won't mind that. They see Cuckoo on the map. They want to take that Centaur kill straight off the bat, though he does have a Blink Dagger and does use it. Winter kind of revealing himself. And Cuckoo, he does surely realize this. In fact, he does. He's running down south. He knows something's wrong. Picks up a double damage. Now the Dream Core comes in. He's going to break it straight off the bat. Just get rid of it. With that, Velo is around. Now the Blinding Light is nice. And now the Midnight Pulse as well. Cuckoo still running. He's still a very tanky target. Though it's just so many things chasing him. He should go down. But Stampede being popped. And now the Will-O-Wisp as well. He does manage to get away. They may even turn it.
is under attack.
Though not quite. They just save their core Centaur, and that'll be the end of that though. Now nothing to say, gonna chase forward for the supports. He goes straight after the Coddle first. Bello really wants that right click, and it looks like he should find it, but meanwhile, the Tiny jumps in. They clean up two in the back. They'll find Dubu on the Coddle, but Ryoya is not done quite yet. Or maybe he is, because he doesn't really have any spells to use. And it looks like that'll be the end of that. And Geek Fam, they came out on top again.
Yeah, it's a bit wonky coming out here for hashtag. They go for the one target that is massively hard to kill. Don't manage to find it. They buy enough time in Geek Fam to really get Cuckoo out of there and still find a couple of kills as well. So rather unfortunate. Perhaps they would have been better off waiting for that black hole to be off cooldown. That might have secured them a really easy kill, but they did opt to just force their hand there.
Mid lane. What the puck lift, Avalanche will be dodged by Phase Shift, and a very nice one at that. Ryoya won't bother trying any further. Back at Miracle, who has the match style up, and as I say that, Raven also gets his one up. In mid lane, a bit of juking and jiving, though Cuckoo jumps in with the hoof stomp, and now the Avalanche toss straight on the puck. Nothing to say, disappears. Winter now has to get the hell out of there. Looks like he will be perfectly fine. Not the greatest of news losing your puck like this, and it looks like Geek Fam will take advantage and go straight through to that mid-tier 1.
Yeah, it's going to be straightforward push. They've got the Terrorblade, they've got the Centaur. The towers are just going to melt. There's nothing you can really do to stop this right now without that puck, and you have no way of blinking in with a black hole just yet.
Well, they're sticking around, or at least Velo is. Just throwing out tracks for his team. So they are going to TP down bot to Miracle at the bot lane. Avalanche is there. Toss not quite, but they'll get the lift off anyway. And with that,
Oh boy.
hoof stomp as well. Miracle nowhere to go, or maybe he does have somewhere to go. Stampede will be there, but they can't run through trees, although never mind the toss. It will make it in time.
Oh, no.
The haunt being wasted, and now nothing to say. He blinks out just barely. He went straight towards the west side, but Cuckoo is making the chase. Doesn't have Blink Dagger available, and it looks like he assumes nothing to say may just be gone. Or maybe not. There are pings coming out on where nothing to say is. Oh, Will-O-Wisp gonna clear out all the tree line, and he just gets him. Wow. Great game sense from the side of Geek Fam to know exactly where he was, and I believe that was Dubu pinging him out.
Yeah, and
In fact, never mind, it was an
immediate
observer
smoke
ward.
after. They've gotten immediate smoke after as well. They've really got the confidence here to keep going on.
Radiant's bottom tower is
It was a
under
nice
attack.
observer ward that actually caught him out. The Will-O-Wisp, though, just clearing the tree line for them to run in. The smoke, I mean, it doesn't look like they're really going to find anybody, although perhaps a Miracle would be an amazing kill to find once again. But he seems to know something is alright. And instead, they're going to run past Velo, who breaks the smoke. Raven doesn't have meta, but they'll happily take Winter's life. And of course the Eidolons as well. Though Polison is moving in. So the team wants to actually go for this fight with all these tracks up. Sepha, he'll be the first target, so you can actually get some black holes out. And it looks like he will end up dropping. Rest of the team, though, surely managed to walk away from this, though Raven gets slowed up by the Spectral Dagger, and now nothing to say. He needs to get a nice Dream Call, and does. Avalanche is there, but doesn't really help the cause. And still, though, buyback is there from Zephyr. He doesn't want to allow this black hole. Now he jumps back in. They get the Stampede off, and the double hoof stomp from Cuckoo. The toss in
my
with the
God.
Avalanche as well. They're just getting ripped apart, but nothing to say. Trying to fight back, trying to help Miracle, but Miracle should just be dead, and is due to the double edge of Cuckoo. And mid lane, Velo is still around the area. They don't seem to have detection available on Dubu right now, so he'll be able to walk his way out. But Geek Fam, with the buyback of Zephyr, managed to turn that one around again and find a 1-for-3 trade.
And a massive kill on top of that. It was on Miracle, who just respawned. He just died minutes earlier. Barely a minute earlier, and immediately out of the game once again. In fact, they might get Velo this time around as well.
No, Maleficus is there. Cuckoo, Hoof Stomp on point underneath the Sentry Ward as well. Illuminate, Will-O-Wisp just to trap him in place, don't let him go anywhere. Although Velo, you got to run away now, so you don't stand in the range of the Will-O-Wisp. He will get away. Black Hole is cancelled off and stolen by Zephyr. And now the Black Hole comes out. He catches all of them. The Haunt comes in as well. But what does it matter? They end up taking Zephyr out, but nothing to say goes down as well. Miracle is a sitting duck right now. Yeah, he's going to die for the third time. Nothing to say buys back and comes back into it, but they're just waiting for him right now. Nice dodge on the toss from Velo. He's trying to get something done for the team. Drums have been popped. Nothing to say. Avalanche preemptively being used. Velo still running off. Ryoyo, they really want this tiny. Raven's waiting for it. He just goes after Velo though. Misses quite a lot uphill. Dust comes out now, just in case Velo's around the area. And I suppose, John, in case anyone was wondering, that's why Polison's afraid to use Black Hole constantly.
Yes, absolutely. That's the longest channel I've seen him do. Isn't that like the third black hole overall? Like second this game because he used it once. And oh boy, if you don't catch Zephyr out, well, it tends to go pretty damn badly. And that does explain why hashtag has been. Look, if you're going to be that hesitant with a black hole, though, like why did you not ban the Rubik? That's a big question in my mind. You first pick Enigma. You don't first face ban Rubik. It goes through the second phase as well, and I'm just trying to fathom. I can't fathom why this is allowed.
Who knows, John? Who knows? Still, Alpha X hashtag nowhere near out of this game quite yet. It is though a 4K net worth lead now for the side of Geek fam. Though to plus 64% the way of Geek fam, and it was actually the way of Alpha X hashtag for quite a while. But just those couple team fights occur and suddenly it changes its mind. Things are getting quite scary for the side of the Radiant as well. I mean, you look at Raven. He's going straight into an Eye of Skadi. He's got the gold for it. He opts to just hold on to it for now. That Eye of Skadi makes him so much tankier and so much more annoying to deal with. Looks like he probably will go pick it up. In fact, he does get it on the courier. And how do you take down Raven now?
There was a moment where the magic damage you had and nothing to say might have been enough, but at this point in game, it's not. He still only has Dagon level 1. What the hell? Oh. He orbed in to Zephyr.
Well, that's not very clever. Velo. Trying to go after Tubu. Pops the BKB for that. Gonna die anyway, though. Yeah, Zephyr, that's exactly what I was thinking, mate. And now with that, the bot racks easily taken at 24.5 minutes in. Raven, of course, hitting like an absolute truck right now. He's still got plenty of time on the meta to find a secondary tier 3. Miracle is trying to split push as a Spectre, John. I mean, he has Haunt, which makes enough sense for him to do this. The only problem was he won't even find a tier 3.
Cuckoo, come on.
I don't really know if Alpha X... I mean, they can come back in this, but it's a pretty tough ask.
Yeah, look, they have a Spectre. It's never over when you play against a Spectre, right? Ultra late game, it can be a monster. But this is way too reminiscent of how Game 1's pacing was, except a bit, the timings are different, but the same thing happened. You have 2 sets of racks completely wiped, 1 lane protected because you have a tier 2 up. And you suddenly lose all the space to safely farm on your spec. You do have a better story coming out from Paulson this time around. He has a blink now, so he can actually initiate if he so chooses, like jump the Rubik at the very least. That's going to be your top priority. So there are still ways. Remember, the high ground fight, if you can land that black hole, is actually pretty big for hashtag. The issue is they haven't had those openings from Geek Fam.
Well, at the very least, Zephyr has to die before it starts. And if Zephyr has buyback and can TP into a creep with BOTs or something like that, it's still going to be very concerning. It's Cuckoo. I mean, there's 3 heroes there, but it's not really worth jumping the Centaur right now. He's just tanky as hell. Has Stampede anyway. And Cuckoo's almost just trying to bait them out. Nothing to say. They get caught. Dubu doesn't spot him quite yet. Does manage to get away, but they are chasing Zephyr. He really wants his puck again. Velo spots him out himself. Now they jump. They want this Rubik gone. The Horn is there, but Ghost Scepter is there on Zephyr, and now the Black Hole. But it could be stolen. In fact, he does, but he does end up dying this time around. Still, though, the Black Hole might not even matter because they don't have the damage. They're getting taken down right now. Miracle. He's so darn low. Raven's going to make the chase. They don't quite find them. In fact, Geek Fam, they've lost 3. And so the Black Hole did make the difference. Miracle, though, you've still got a big problem in Raven to deal with, though the Earth Splitter is
Oh,
going to be
no.
pretty darn nice, Raven. He does Did he just mad to dodge that?
I think he did.
That's impressive. Velo cancels the TP
Oh,
off.
no.
Now Sunder comes
What?
in. Velo, you can't do that, sir. The nice stomp, though, will slow them down. Still, though, a great team fight coming up for Alpha X hashtag. That one back hole from Paulson really turned it around for them and gave them an opportunity back into this game. Still, though, it is a 9k net worth lead to Geek fam. They are still looking amazing, and they smoke up again.
Mike, did you check the Dota Plus graph? It
Oh.
really shifted hard.
Well, that's not good.
Oh boy. Look, they got some good kills there. Yes, they lost Miracle. And that kind of negates everything that you achieved there. Because your Spectre died. You're going into the late game, you're relying on Spectre, you're down 2 racks. It really is on the back of the Spectre at some point, and they're not there to build off of those kills. So overall, Geek Fam is still going to be happy with that. They're still going to be able to push out quite fine. In fact, Raven has his Satanic up.
Uh-oh. Well, he's also about to have an Aegis up, as he does go for the Roshan now. Of course, I believe this is the second of the game. In fact, no, it's the first. So just an Aegis this time around. I imagine they'll just give it to Raven. Take care of that, get rid of that Wraith Band. Velo trying to scout out, not quite realizing what's going on. Although Alpha X hashtag are coming in and they have Haunt available, they just need some vision to see what HP this Roshan's at. This could be massive for them if they could steal this Aegis. It's almost down though. Here comes the Haunt. Paulison, he jumps in. Where's the black hole? He doesn't actually have it available right now, but the Dream Core comes out. The Midnight Pulse is nice as well. Dubu, he goes down, but Paulison's dead. He'll buy back Miracle. Fighting over the Roshan. Raven's picked it up though, and now Miracle's in trouble. Looks like he'll just go down. Cuckoo pretty darn low. He's gonna TP away in front of him, and the Sunder from Raven ensuring he stays alive. Phase shift will allow Nothing to Say to get out of there. They tried their best to take that Roshan away from the side of Geek Fam, and it does not work out. In fact, they're not even done yet. Ryoya's looking for Velo. They found him. They'll take him out, and that may mean they go after that tier 2 and the 3rd racks.
For sure, there's no buyback on those 2 heroes. The black hole is still up on Paulson, but Zephyr's still around, and he can definitely steal that spell. It's going to be really hard to defend this. Even once you have Miracle respawning, he does not have Haunt for at least half a minute once he's up. So that's a window that Geek Fam can abuse quite hard if they so opt to.
Raven's almost got a Moonshot up, John. In fact, he might just go bite, and no,
He goes for the bottle. That's a bit more sensible because you can just bottle up double damage like he does now.
Yep.
And there you go. On-demand double damage. Going to be very useful once their creep wave hits that tier 2 into the high ground.
he's casually just going to be hitting for about 700-800 damage per right click from a range.
Oh, he has his moon shard as well, huh?
Oh, he
Well
does
done.
too. He just bought it. Fair enough. That is going to be some painful hits coming out from Raven with that double damage and Moonshard, though he doesn't actually have the Moonshard in the bag right now. He'll pop the DD and then throw it in. Fair enough. Haunt will come out very early on with the Dream Core. In fact, they came in from behind, but the Ghost Scepters are there. Now the Black Hole. Paulson, it's a massive one. This could be the team fight they needed. They actually found everybody. Raven pops the meta, though. He's hitting like an absolute truck.
Oh my
Winter,
God.
he's down as well. Miracle, just get the hell out of there. Oh my. What a black hole from Paulson,
Miracle?
but it doesn't
Miracle?
matter. Miracle going after Cuckoo. Nothing to Say will join him. They may find Cuckoo, but Big Bad Raven's coming as well. Phase shift will be there though. That'll protect the puck. And they're holding on. Alpha X hashtag, like, regardless of whether they're evening out these team fights or not, or whether they're losing, they're holding on to that final lane of racks, and it is really all just Paulson landing these amazing black holes.
It definitely is. Now that he has the confidence to go up and do his thing, you can see the effect of a big black hole at this point in the game. It really turns these fights around. They are finding the right targets as well. Taking out Zephyr before he can do anything. He's not as farmed as he was in the first game. Does not have his BKB up, does not have his Ags up, so he's in a bit more of a perilous position to try to do what he did in the last game. I think the one major issue with Raven is the fact that he actually doesn't have a blink. So when he chases someone else and gets outrun, he has no way of catching anyone else, and that does cost him. So I think I'd like to see a blink up in Miracle just to on Raven, just to allow him to jump around targets a bit more. But I don't actually know what he'd slot out for that. Perhaps once the Aegis expires, you can make a case for it.
Looks like they're returning back up to that top lane. Black Hole is down for quite a long time, still 1 minute and 10 seconds from now, and Raven, although he doesn't have Metamorphosis, still has the Aegis. Can still do a lot of damage just with himself. See Velo on the back, already scouting out for the side of Alpha. So sentry down, perfectly placed from Zephyr, and that sets up Ryoya to jump in with the Avalanche Toss and find the kill. He does have buyback available though, and he does commit it immediately. But Raven's about 10 seconds away from picking up that Metamorphosis and the smoke in the back as well. We'll see if they can defend without the Black Hole being available this time around. 35 seconds they need to defend before it's up. Raven takes the tier 3 by himself. Cuckoo jumps in a bit short. Velo can't afford to get caught out again though. He BKBs up and chases Dubu, and now the Horn. Will-O-Wisp is there though preemptively. They jump in, nothing to say. Dreamcore is there. Zephyr, he's gone.
Oh.
That's a good start. But still Geek fam. Metamorphosis now is also up, and Ryoya, he found Velo. That's going to be a dieback on the bounty. So you got essentially a dieback for a dieback. Nothing to say. Jumps in, takes down the Keeper of the Light, and he's just TPing out apparently. Some great coordination, I suppose, with the stomp. He actually just baited them. And they will just TP out of their Geek fam. They don't want a part of this.
Yeah, it's a slow chipping away of the base. Hashtag is finding openings, and that's really darn good for them. Finding Zephyr every single time is going to be the key here. Again, I look at Raven. It's the fact that he cannot be as mobile as the puck. And, you know, he can only be in one spot at a time. If Velo jumps the back line, he's not going to be able to respond immediately because, hey, he doesn't have a blink. He doesn't have Hurricane Pike up just yet. He could go for that as just upgrade on the Dragonlance, so he'll have a bit more mobility. I think there is a lot of utility in that. Otherwise, you want to see a bit more on perhaps Zephyr at this point. He's granted a bit poor, but that's because he's really playing a harder support here. He needs a bit more gold in him. I'd say the BKB might give him a good amount of HP to play with. Also keeps him from the burst of the puck. So that's going to be useful to get if Zephyr can farm it up. Issue is if there's enough time for him to farm that item up.
It's like nothing to say. Gonna pick up a Scythe of Vice next up on the puck. That's gonna be a bit concerning for Geek Fam if he gets to that point. And he is almost level 25, so he can go for the plus 420 gold per minute. That's when things get a bit silly for the puck. Paulison. Refresher Orb is going to be on the quick buy, though he will go for a BKB first, which is very, very fair. He's seen how important his role is in the team fights now. He just needs to ensure that he's immune when he does throw it out. Geek Fam, seemingly not really aware of how to get back into the base. There is a double damage rune down bot, but Velo's going to quickly take it before Raven spots it out. That probably would have been the rune they wanted to get going, but well, that's off the table now. They do have meta up at the very least, and they actually lose their range racks on the side of Alpha versus Alpha X hashtag.
Dire's bottom tower is under
I mean, it's just these illusions just constantly running in, helping out the siege creeps. And he does it again, he just keeps creep skipping with them.
So we're at this point in the game where it's a bit of a stalemate. Geek Fam is not confident in pushing out just yet. They're waiting for a couple of items to come out first. Roshan may respawn in a few seconds as well. We'll find out for sure right about now. So it should tell us, yeah, it's a fairly short Roche, 20 seconds in. That's something that Geek Fam can look to take, but you have to always be aware of that black hole now. If Paulson gets a good black hole in that Roche pit, it could
Dire's courier
be very bad
Oh,
for
nice
Geek Fam, and
courier
that
kill.
is very bad. Oh my god, that is that's an Ags.
Ags and a Demon Edge was on that courier, as well as some wards. So a massive pickup. I believe that was Cuckoo's Ags that was lost in that courier. And so now you've bought a couple more minutes for the Radiant side to try and get some more farm up and back. They're going for a fight. Paulson goes in with the Malefus Dubu. He's going to be the target. Raven will go straight onto Velo. Velo could have just forfeited his life here. But no, Horn comes in. He's still alive. The puck, though, does not jump in quite yet anyway. Nothing to say. Who's he going for here? They jump after the Tiny, apparently, but don't take him out either. And a very strange engagement to a team fight, as neither side really wants a part of this. Well, nothing to say. Getting caught out now. Spectral Daggers being thrown out everywhere, and they will find him. He does not have buyback available. In fact, it is 100 gold away, so he will actually passively get that up. The problem is he won't have it up in time for this Roshan.
Yeah, and again, that's going to be a big objective. Going the way of Geek Fam, it has the cheese this time around. They have a lot of ways of keeping Raven alive. Hell, I'd say give the Aegis to Zephyr, actually.
Miracle getting caught out by himself.
No.
That's going to be a lot of damage coming out. He's still sustaining. Where's his teammates? Not really there. There's no shrine to TP to. So the Roshan, half HP just about. That attempt on Miracle's life does kind of give it away that they're taking the Roshan and Velo. He's going to be the first one to try and run in, but there are sentry wards around that Roche pit. And now the tree volley Ryoya farming while the Roshan's been taken. Cuckoo jumps in with the hoof stomp. He found Velo. The rest of his teammates were still trying to get the Roshan done. And this actually gives vision of the Roshan's health now. So Geek Fam maybe playing with their food a little too much. They'll get started again, but Miracle's ready to jump in with the dagger. Raven just not really sure if he wants to do this, and they are actually going to jump on the back where Paulson is. Now that's the kill they needed, but the buybacks come out. They're going to go for a full-scale team fight, it looks like, as Raven. He pops the Metamorphosis, but in the back, Velo, he's going to go after Cuckoo. Who have they found? Raven. He's by himself right now, but nothing to say, does not want a part of that. And he may have actually been caught out. He can't afford to die right now. It'll be a dieback. The Ryoya, he backs off.
They're going to go back to the Roche. It looks like, no? Yeah. They're just going to go finish that Roche. They've got to make a decision here. If they keep playing back and forth, it's going to be very bad for the way of Geek Fam. Here they go again, back and forth.
Well, they found one. Who is it? It's going to be Velo. He's down. No buyback on him. Raven, back to the Roche. It's so low, he's just so scared it's going to get stolen. Nothing to say. Still gets spotted out, although no, he will go in well with the Will-O-Wisp. The Raven, he does pick up the Aegis. He gets it, and with that Will-O-Wisp, they can hold him all in. Miracle, he's a sitting duck right now. Avalanche Toss is there. The Spectre, how tanky are you? Raven, Black Hole, Paulson, he turns it around. Where's Zephyr? He's stolen it from the high ground. He gets all of them, and he's going to be able to grab Paulson, throw him back. They got the Spectre. Raven lost his Aegis, but what a play from Zephyr from the high ground. They call GG. They had enough. And I would call GG after that black hole too, John. I really would.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, there's no way you defend this. You already used your big saving grace ability in that black hole. You already used Haunt. You have buyback and Spectre. But what is Spectre without Haunt? Not much. And unfortunately for AlphaX hashtag, that is their first series going 2-0 the way of Geek Fam. Well played to Geek Fam, showing us just how well this reshuffled roster can do for themselves. Hashtag, they had signs of life. They're still a really damn strong team. It's just that Geek Fam is definitely one of the favorites here, Mike.
They certainly are. Nevertheless, John, we do have 3 more series on tonight. The next one, as I stated before, will be Reality Rift versus Signal. So that's coming up now. After that, we do have AlphaX hashtag versing TNC, and then we finish off with Geek Fam vs Signal later on tonight. Nevertheless, it is MLP Dota and John X Fire. If you're enjoying and want to support, follow us on Twitter. Otherwise, we'll see you guys very soon for the 3rd series of the night.